The call to buy Canadian rang out loud and clear today at one of Windsor's busiest intersections. Union leaders, local steelworkers, and one of Canada's largest industry voices took their fight to the corner of Banwell and E.C. Row, where foreign steel is being used to build a new overpass. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on TV and radio. The construction at Banwell and E.C. Row is a symbol of how Canada's steel industry is losing ground. That was the message today at that rally, attended by our Sanjay Maru, and he joins me now with our top story. Sanjay.
Michelle, organizers say what's happening at that intersection is not an isolated case, but in Windsor, it is one of the clearest examples of a systemic problem. They believe Canada is building too much of its future on foreign steel, while local plants capable of supplying those materials are being left on the sidelines. These steel beams are why roughly 3 dozen steelworkers and union leaders gathered at the intersection of E.C. Row and Banwell Friday afternoon. They warn Canada's reliance on imported steel is eroding domestic jobs and national pride.
And every time I hear that hammer hit, it's like driving a stake in my heart and in my gut. It's terrible. You know, they're pounding this foreign steel into our soil to build our infrastructure, and it's actually just, it defies logic and common sense.
Labels on these beams put up for an overpass show they were imported from South Korea, and according to steel titan Barry Zeckelman, these could have easily been made at Atlas Tube in Harrow, about a 35-minute drive away.
We've moved product to the U.S., and I don't want to do that. And they're hardworking people. They deserve to have a great job and great pay.
Veteran steel worker Scott Cressman says what's happening here is being felt across the shop floors in the steel sector. At Atlas Tube in Harrow,
production at our plant is down, probably a good 40% at this point, but it's going to drop even further. It's hurting our jobs, it's hurting our incomes, and it's hurting our families and communities.
200 people work at Atlas Tube, and for Cressman, every missed contract means less revenue, lost tax dollars, and growing concern about job security. Union leaders from Hamilton and Nanticoke joined the rally, representing roughly 2,000 steelworkers, calling on Ottawa to raise retaliatory tariffs from 25% to 50% and require Canadian steel in publicly funded projects.
The steel that our company that we work for makes, Stelco, is further produced by these workers from Atlas that can be used in these projects. So we're kind of disappointed. They're using offshore steel.
Prime Minister Mark Carney recently met with U.S. President Donald Trump to try and settle steel and aluminum disputes, and while both sides called the talks productive, no definitive deal was reached. And in a statement late this afternoon, the City of Windsor says the steel used in the Banwell Corridor interchange was purchased through Canadian distributors but made overseas, since that specific type of steel is not manufactured in this country. Officials say sourcing from Korean and Luxembourg suppliers helped avoid supply delays and cost overruns, with those piles accounting for less than 1% of the project's total value. The city adding most of the remaining steel, including rebar, handrails, and water main casings, was produced in Canada. Michelle.
All right, Sanjay, thank you so much for that. An interesting response there from the city about the project. Clearly, there's nothing we can do about it at this point. I'm wondering, though, that's a very busy part of the city. Was traffic backing up? Were there any traffic issues?
Yeah, traffic wasn't backed up at all. It is quite busy, as you mentioned, and organizers say that was really the point of this rally. Get this in front of as many eyes as possible with those beams in the background to really send that message home.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense to have it there, because now everyone driving by there will think of it now. So they got their message through, it would seem.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you so much for this important story. Sanjay Maru reporting tonight for us in the newsroom.